Oh, hey Jackoffs, you're all back. So anyway, as promised, I was going to tell you about my 7th grade football physical. So one of the things that you have to do before you can play football, I assume nowadays too, is you have to go in for a physical. So in about 1987, I was 12 years old. You know, back in a little town where I came from, Montezuma, you didn't have football before that. 7th grade was the first time you could play. And so anyway, I go down to the doctor's office one afternoon, and it's summertime, and my mom worked there in town. So I walked over to the doctor's office, and this old doctor I had an appointment with, I swear he's probably 80 some years old. So I go back to the little room there, and the nurse says, okay, go ahead and strip down to your underwear. And then of course, it's a woman and you're going into 7th grade, pretty embarrassing type of a deal. But anyway, you strip down to your underwear, she takes off, and in walks the old doctor. And he comes in, he's like, sit up here, and he hits your knees with a thing, checks your reflexes. Next thing you know, he's like, drop your drawers, and he's like, turn your head and cough. Now the whole turn your head and cough thing, I think I'd heard before, so it was you're somewhat prepared for it. But then the next thing I know, this old guy is literally juggling my nuts right there in the doctor's office. And I'm thinking, Jesus, what the hell? So anyway, I get dressed, I walk back over to my mom's work, and we drive home, and she makes supper. And of course back then everybody always sat down at the supper table, so it was me going into 7th grade, my sister going into her senior year, and of course my mom and my dad. So as we're sitting there, all I can think about is some 80-year-old guy juggling my nuts, right? So my dad says, he goes, hey Cheyenne, he goes, did you have your physical today? And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, did the doctor play with your nuts? And I looked at him and I said, was he supposed to? And my dad goes, well, yeah, I guess.
What? What the fuck?
And I go, maybe a little bit of heads up on that would have been a good thing, because for the last three and a half hours, I thought I got molested by some 80-year-old doctor in Montezuma. And of course, the whole table starts laughing. I wasn't. I didn't think it was that funny. So anyway, Hot Rod, a.k.a. Long Rod, a.k.a. Roddy, a.k.a. Dad, if you're listening, you can kiss my ass for not giving me a heads up. Hey, in KMA Nation, make sure and join me next time. I'm going to be talking a little bit about the best coaching advice I ever received, and I was only in the 2nd grade. So whether you love me, hate me, or maybe I offended you, make sure and subscribe. That way you get my new videos every Friday afternoon. And if you hate me, maybe you and all of your 2 friends can sit there and make fun of me. You should subscribe too. And if I offended you, go ahead and subscribe as well. That way you can be offended again. So until next time, KMA Nation, you can all kiss my ass.